All right, thank you everybody for joining us. Welcome to TNP's webinar. We are so appreciative to have you join us today. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. TNP is here to provide services for nonprofits, and we look forward to continuing this virtually, but also in real life and in person again soon. We support your organizations so that you can make positive change in your communities, and we truly appreciate all of you who are here. If you are an essential organization and continuing to work on the front lines, thank you. Please be safe. And for those of the rest of us, if you're working from home, thank you for carving out some time in your day and joining us for today's webinar. We are excited to bring you this. So how to engage your followers on social media during COVID-19. What are some really great tips? You are in the best of hands today with Sweeney May. But before I get to that, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Christina Krishbaum, and I'm the program manager for TNP. If you have any suggestions for needs that you have in terms of additional topics or training topics, please let us know. You can always email us at info@tnpsocal.org. I wanted to thank our sponsors for our webinars, the Josephine S. Gumbiner Foundation, as well as the Port of Long Beach and Edison International. All of these are working together to make our webinars available to you for free. So we really do appreciate their support during this time, and we hope that you find these useful and productive for your time as well. I also wanted to let you know that we do run affinity groups every Friday. So if you're interested in some peer learning and peer resource sharing, we run those for executive directors, for fund developers, and for managers of volunteer programs. Tomorrow we have our executive director affinity group in the morning, so right at 9 a.m. And it's free for anyone right now. We typically hold these for member organizations only, but throughout this pandemic, we are looking at running these virtually, and we've opened them up to anybody. So we would love to have you join us. You can find all of these links at tnpsocal.org to register. And also we are holding a weekly HR check-in with Ann Laguza of the Works Consulting, and we have that tomorrow from 11 to 12:30. And tomorrow's topic will be on what day is it? Signs that your team may be in need of a little bit of TLC during this pandemic. So it's great topics and a great chance for Q&A with an HR resource. So we do hope that you'll be able to join us for our additional programming that is going on. And one last plug, hopefully you loved Sweeney May as much as we do, because she will be returning to TNP for a workshop on digital marketing in general. So getting you some basic ideas about platforms and how really to assess your audience. And that will be May 12th. From 1 to 4 p.m. So be looking for that information. It's not up on our calendar just yet because we just worked out the details about 5 minutes ago. So we work quickly here. You'll see it soon. Without further ado, I do want to toss it over to Sweeney May. We had a lot of people really excited for this session, Sweeney. We have 165 people registered to attend this webinar. So they're really excited. A lot of interest in really how to engage our followers. And you're all in great hands. Sweeney May Montanola has been running our digital marketing workshops now for 2 years. She is one of our primary trainers for the Long Beach Gives campaign. Some of you may be familiar with that. And she is the owner and founder of Mayday Marketing. So without further ado, Sweeney, take it away.
Hi, everyone. It's so exciting to see the chat active. And first of all, I'm very thankful for Christina and the TNP team that they're able to offer these services, because it's really important to help you guys. And a lot of people out there are a little lost or just out of ideas. You know, what else can we post? What else can we do in social media to engage? You know, maybe some people are starting to feel like they're saying things over and over again. And so today I just want to share some ideas with you guys of things and topics and how you can create different content during this time. And also keep in mind that, you know, these are generic advice. So, you know, it probably some things may not apply, you know, to your organization, but just keep an open mind and a creative mind and see, you know, how you can take some of these ideas and make it your own. I've also gathered some examples as well, so hopefully that will help you. I also have examples of things I've done. I'm currently the marketing director for South Bay Pavilion, which is a shopping center in Carson. Yes, we're closed, but all of our restaurants are open for pickup and delivery, and some, essential businesses like Target or Big Five or even Harbor Freight, they're open, and the banks are open. So, even though the mall is closed, there's still a little bit of things to do, and you'll be surprised at some of the things that I created for myself to do. So and during this time, it's really tough to tell whether or not your company that you work for will keep the employees or furlough the employees. So the best thing we could do as employees is to keep the momentum going and try and justify the fact that there's something to be done marketing wise, social media wise, because without marketing, it's really, if no one is in charge of the communication and marketing and getting the word out to your stakeholders and even to your target market, it's tough to be silent at this time. So yeah, so that's my intro for you guys, and thank you again for being here. So let me share my screen so we can get started. Here we go. Oh, 1 second. Let me make sure that I'm on presentation mode on that screen, and then I can share it. Here we go. And then there's also just a quick note. There's a little lag, so I'm going to try and make sure that I advance my screen and start talking about it. If on your end I'm starting to talk about the next topic, but you're not seeing the slide just yet, just be patient because it's coming. There's just a little lag with switching the screen. Okay, here we go. And share. Okay. So social media marketing in the time of COVID-19, presented by yours truly. I will get right into it because, we have an hour and I can talk as much as you'll have questions. So we will make sure we have time for the questions as well. So our focus for today is how to create content during the pandemic, how to design the content to communicate real struggles but keep a positive tone, and how to communicate to your stakeholders that you are there for the people that you serve. So I feel like those are the most important things to focus at this time right now, when everyone is, has their own struggles and are not sure of how to communicate them without sounding so negative. So the content message goals are going to be, you have to be sensitive, avoid coming off as someone who's exploiting something that you're promoting. Don't heighten the fear. Instead, let's increase strength and hope. When in doubt, better to be serious than sorry. So what that means is that sometimes maybe on our regular pre-pandemic times that, maybe we did a lot of joking around and having casual conversation type of posts. So if you're used to that witty conversational tone, let's make sure that it doesn't come off as insensitive. Let's be positive, be helpful and inspirational. Concentrate on how you want people to feel after reading your post. Like that great Maya Angelou quote, that people will remember how you made them feel. So that's always been a priority for me in marketing and in content creation. So let's focus on how we are making people feel after we post. Provide value to your target audience. Concentrate on contribution versus conversion. What that means is, let's concentrate on giving our audience value instead of trying to sell them anything at this time. It really depends on your organization, but most likely than not, it's not the best time to really sell anything unless it's essential. So we have to figure out ways how we can be valuable to our target market without the selling aspect of it at the moment. We want to keep our brand loyalty. We want to keep them engaged with us. We want to keep them thinking that, you know, our organizations, your organizations are valuable and still valuable and will be valuable after the pandemic. So we have to concentrate on giving them that contribution and that value. So it's really important that we focus on non-negative keywords. Notice I didn't say positive keywords. I just said non-negative keywords. A lot of the phrases and the catchphrases and the taglines have been going around are some of the things that I've listed. We're in this together, stay in, stay safe. Thank you to the frontliners. Let's flatten the curve. Safer at home, boost your immunity, social distancing. So those are some of like the, some of them can't, it doesn't talk about super positive time because, we know the reality, we're in the pandemic. So I'm calling them non-negative keywords. And if you guys didn't know, social media and Facebook and Instagram, Facebook especially, they do have algorithms that can tell if your post is negative or positive. And even prior to the pandemic times, Facebook was already cracking down on negative posts. So they are concentrating more on promoting posts that are positive and that communicates happiness and joy and things like that. And if it had any negative words in it, like they automatically sometimes don't show it to as many people. So even more so now, they are also cracking down on, false facts, fake news, and anything like that that's going on that's not certified and accurate. They try to either take them down or they don't show them to as many people as it normally would show to. So let's focus on the non-negative keywords when you're creating these posts. You type up your post and you have to ask yourself, you have to read it and ask yourself, does it sound positive? Does it have any words in there that could be flagged as negative? So here are some negative and borderline negative keywords that maybe you should avoid. Avoid the words such as spreading germs. Maybe sometimes you can't avoid it, but try to. Contagious disease, viral disease, infectious, death rates, killer, and keep your distance, as opposed to social distancing. Sometimes keep your distance seems a little bit more harsh. So these are some examples. I don't have a complete list, but I hope that you get the point. There are some words out there and phrases and word pairings that you can avoid and replace with something that sounds a little bit more positive. So here are, I think I have a list of 9. I think I had 10, and then I found out that, 1 or 2 of them were similar. So I believe I have 9 content ideas for your social media pages. So let's get right on to our first one. Hopefully there's no lag that you can see this right away, but you'll see it eventually. First tip is share the adjustments that your organization had to make during the pandemic. And right underneath that tip, I do have some thinking points. And like Christina said earlier, that we're going to share these slides to you after the presentation, just so you have it and you can refer back to it when you need. Uh-oh, my thing just said I think I'm still good. Let me make sure. Okay, sorry, I had to take a pause because I just got a message that said my connection is unstable, but I think I'm still on. Christina, just send me a message if I'm not. Okay, so we're gonna get those questions answered later. So again, share the adjustments your organization had to make during the pandemic. Issue an official letter from your leader. Break this into multiple posts and feature key quotes, and I'll explain more. Create a video message to your stakeholders. If you I have this nice white background right now, or if you're comfortable, you have a nice area in your home, take a video and write that letter to your stakeholders and your audience, but also record a video that's communicating the same message. Now, at that point, you already have two different content that you can share. As you know, sometimes a video post on social media is shows more uh, shows more positive results as far as how many people it's reaching. So sometimes a video is a bit more effective than just a written post, but do them both. Write your message, take a video saying the same message, write a blog or an article and post it on your website. Don't be afraid to be repetitive. Important information should be posted 4 to 5 different times or ways. And let me explain how that works is because if you think about it, you're not online at the same time all the time, or you don't see people's posts all the time when they post it. So when you think about publishing these information out on social media, people are online at different times. So it's okay if you repost the same message that you posted yesterday, but it's even better if you can think of a different way to deliver it. So for example, if you posted your video, a message from your CEO, a message from your president, a message from your leader in your organization, the first time you post it is going to be like a launch video, like here's a message from our from our leader, and then boom, you publish it out there. Then tomorrow, the next day, you could probably post the actual letter that your leader wrote. Like, here's the letter. If you missed the video, here's the letter from our leader. The following day, maybe you can post little quotes where it says, break this into multiple posts and feature key quotes. Take like significant quotes from that letter and make it into an image, those quotable image that you see sometimes being posted. You can post that and break it up into different quotes from that letter and post those at different times. And then you can link it back to the page. For example, if your leader said something profound and you put it in a quote image, you can say, our leader said this in their letter, but if you want to see the entire message, click here, or you want to see the video, click here. So those are just examples of how you can basically extend one idea of a content into several contents. We have to get creative sometimes. And also people do take messages in small bites. So yes, you do have to publish your entire letter, but sometimes people can receive the message better when they're split in several smaller bite-sized thoughts, if that makes sense. So here's just a quick example. This example is actually taken from Denny's. Am I saying that right? It's my accent. But there's a lot of different companies out there that are doing the same sort of messaging, saying, we're changing a few things to keep our customers and staff safe. You can read the full statement from our CEO here, and then they have that link. I've seen multiple ones even in the shopping center industry that, CEOs are writing these messages to their stakeholders. So that's an idea that you guys can definitely take advantage of. And let's see on our next slide. When it comes to just updating your stakeholders on what you're doing, to adjust during these times, like for South Bay Pavilion, here's just an example. This is on our website, but it's actually an actual photo that I took because we've had to create signage all around our property that just allows people to see visually that our restaurants are open for pickup and delivery. But on our website, we do have that red ticker tape at the bottom, if you see on this screen, that says it's safer at home. South Bay Pavilion will be closed until further notice. Click here for restaurant hours and COVID-19 resources for workers and business owners. So when they actually click on that link, they will be taken to a page where there's a lot more resources, and also it encourages them to follow us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram for up-to-date information and updates about what is going on at the center. And frequently, we also post things to remind them to turn the notifications on their side for our page, so that every time we post, they will be notified. So I feel that as organizations like you guys, you will have those, I call them in the marketing world, your super fans, those people that find your updates very important. So they will turn the notifications on, so they are aware every time there's any changes, every time you're doing anything new or anything different, or if there's any way that they can help you. So once in a while, you want to post that too. Hey, we have, we're sharing updates frequently. Make sure that you turn on the notification so that you will be notified once we share a new update. Basically, that's what it is. Let's see. I know there's a couple questions here, and we will save them until later. But I see here, when you say 4 to 5 times, do you mean on Instagram is a one time and on Facebook is a one time? Or do you mean 4 to 5 times on the same platform? I mean 4 to 5 times on the same platform, especially on your primary social media platform. If Facebook is your primary social media platform, we all have that one platform that we use that's the most comfortable for us to use, the most followers, or the most people that are following us on, the platform that people are mostly engaged with us on. So that will count as your primary platform. And for most, typically this is their Facebook. And so yeah, when I say 4 to 5 times on that same platform or on each platform, because like I said, once you post, let's say you posted it on a Thursday at 8 a.m. If I'm one of your followers and I did not wake up until noon, then I might have missed it and I may not ever see it because so many other people are posting after that. So you have to find a way to post it again at noon or again at night. But so you don't feel like you're being way too repetitive, then you have to find creative ways to say it differently if you could. And if not, it's okay to repeat the same message, especially if it is important. Let's see. I'm going to answer that one only because it relates to what we're just talking about, but I will save the rest in a few. So next tip we have is share stories of challenges and how you are overcoming them. So with this one, yes, we should remain positive, and yes, we should avoid, we should avoid those negative words and borderline negative words. But you could also still be realistic and be honest about your current situation. So how you will create that post is you're going to first introduce what the challenge is, and then finish that post with something positive, like how you're overcoming it or how people can help you overcome it. So here are some thoughts under this tip. Did you have to close your location? How is it affecting you, your staff, and the people you're helping? Did you have to furlough employees for the time being? Are you an essential service and constantly exposed? Did you apply for the stimulus package loans, and how do you plan to spend this? So these are just some examples. I don't know how it relates to you, but the idea of this is that if you have a legitimate struggle right now as an organization, it's okay to be honest about it, but there is a way to still create this message in a positive note. So just think of how that could be. Maybe you had to furlough your employees. You can say something like, it has been hard for our organization, but our spirits are high. We had to furlough some employees, but we're still in touch with them. We're constantly figuring out how to get back to our full staff. We've applied for the loans. We're expecting to get approved, and once we do, I know that these loans are forgivable if they're spent on keeping your employees on board. So, those things, even though you're sharing your struggles, there's also a way to still sound positive. You just don't want to sound defeated. And if there's any way that your stakeholders can help you in that process of your struggle, just be honest about it. If you guys, you can say, we're working in skeleton staff, but we still have so many people to help, and we are helping deliver meals to all these places. If you'd like to help, or other people that can help, share this post, and they can sign up to volunteer with our organization as we're helping other families during COVID-19 pandemic. So just something like that where it's still positive, even though you're being honest with your struggle. Here's an example that I typed up, just to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to read it as you're seeing it, or maybe you're about to see it. Here's an example. On March 21st, we had to close our location to comply with a safer at home mandate. We miss our volunteers and our clients. We miss being able to make a difference in the way that we have been used to, but we now have to adjust to the current and new normal. We want to thank our employees who have continuously been working around the clock to make adjustments to be able to continue to serve our community. Since we had to temporarily close, we have been able to help on average of about 25 families per week with food donations and health resources. Your donations and support has continued to help us help others. We will always be in this together. For more information on how you can contribute with us, click the link below. Then you can lead them to whatever page, website that you need them to go to. So that's an example where you're being honest, but you're being positive, and then you are communicating hope and strength within your organization. We're going on to the next slide. Share any efforts. The third tip is share any efforts you're making to help others in this time of need. It goes hand in hand with the last tip as well, but be clear on your call to action. How can your donors help you at this time? If donors donate money, how will it be spent? If donors donate resources like masks, food, etc., how will it be utilized? And this is, not too different from what you probably would do regularly if we're not in this pandemic. But sometimes when we're up against something that's unprecedented and unknown, sometimes we just forget the basics, right? So I'm here, to just remind you can still share those things, how, before the pandemic, we've already had to do it, to be able to share on your social media pages how you're spending the money, how you're using the resources, and etc. So I'm here to just remind you, this tip is to just remind you that you can still keep doing that, and you should still do that, especially if your organization is actively helping people, whether physically in person or even virtually online. So many organizations are doing a lot of virtual activities and helping others virtually. So that's, if that's the case with you, share that. And that's another content you can do on social media. Tip number 4, how has your organization transitioned into working from home? And here are some thoughts underneath that. How are you accomplishing your goals while working from home? Plenty of people are working from home, so share your challenges or your tips. Share photos of yourself or your employees working from home. You'd be surprised at how relatable, quote unquote, the struggles are. So don't just get caught up with just sharing organizations, activities, what you're doing right now, how you're helping others, and how your location has closed. Besides those information, you can also share your personal, struggles from working at home, some, funny stories, some relatable stories. Maybe your dog keeps spilling your coffee on your table or anything like that, because it breaks up the different content that the seriousness, maybe it breaks up the seriousness of your content where it's still relatable and you're not being insensitive you're just sharing something that everyone is probably also struggling with, from working at home. So just remember that you can totally share things that you're going through or your employees are going through. And I have some examples here for you later on too. So that's another idea that you can put in your books or your list of things to post. Maybe you can call up your employees and say, can you take a picture of you working from home today? Take a selfie, with your cats or dogs or babies or whatnot. And share it with you if you're the social media person. And then it's something that you can put into the queue of content that you can post on social media. And the next slide, are there any challenges or activities or do-it-yourself type of activities that you can prompt your followers to do while they're at home? Now, again, it depends on what kind of organization you are listening on the other side of this computer, but there are organizations that could think of creative ways to engage their people while people are in quarantine. So some ideas are clean up their homes, maybe some so that they can gather some donations. Making masks, maybe people are making masks at home, and you can share some patterns, and you can share directions and instructions on how to create masks. And maybe you'll do a little contest of who can have them upload these pictures that they're creating masks at home. Teach your followers how to organize their closet or their pantry and have them donate these things that they don't need to your organization. You can also have them or share some recipes that could help a big family make, some grocery list lasts longer at home. So these are some ideas too. And I have some examples actually that I've pulled, and an example of something that I just recently did that was really successful for me. So one example is from Headspace. It said their message on their website says, "We're here for you. There are a lot of unknowns in the world right now, but one thing is certain. Headspace is here for you. To help support you through this time of crisis, we're offering some meditations you can listen to at any time." So that's great. That's a great example of utilizing the resources you have to be able to still help the people that are typically using your services at home. Another example is actually something that I recently did last week. Was I partnered with IKEA, and then I partnered with a friend of mine who runs a company called Natural Born Organizers, and we did a 7-day declutter challenge. And it was a little bit of work to try and figure out what challenges we're going to do every day. For example, we did like day one, we had them clean out all their junk mails and their old subscription magazines and only keep the recent ones. Day two, it was the pantry and the kitchen. Day three was the bathroom and the toiletry. So it goes on and on until they can clean out their closet and their shoes. And of course, we encourage them to donate the things that they don't need anymore from their closet to some organizations that we know that are currently accepting donations, especially food donations. So that's another way for me to engage with our shoppers. Our doors are currently closed right now. They can't really shop, but guess what? It's springtime. It's a great time to stay ahead of spring cleaning. And I have close to about 60 people who participated. And what I had to do was every day of the challenges, I asked them to take a photo, specific things. Like, for example, if it was day one and they were cleaning out the junk mail, to take a picture of their junk mail, covering their addresses, of course. Take a picture of their junk mail and post it on social media, and then use these hashtags, tag these accounts, tell us what you did today, and then share it with others. So every day, more people were joining the challenge because we allowed them to join late if they could, and they could just catch up to whatever they missed. And I actually had, let's see if I can share this. maybe I'll show it towards the end. I have a video of, I had natural born organizers actually do 7 different videos of the different challenges every day. So that was fun. So it's just an idea for you guys. If there's any challenges that you can encourage your followers to do at home, I totally support that. It's something positive. It's something productive that they can do at home, and keep engaging with you and your brand. And you can definitely partner with other businesses, other organizations. You know, so many people are being creative right now, so they wouldn't mind partnering if you have that great idea of a challenge that you can do. So tip number 5 is make quarantine fun and positive. I mean, that last one was a great idea too for this tip, but I have a couple more examples under this. So some thoughts underneath this is create challenges for your followers, which I think I probably put that example on the other tip. I should have put it on this one. Clean up and gather donations. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I feel like some of these got copied over. So teach your followers how to organize their closet. If you know any fitness instructors that are doing virtual workouts or challenges, maybe you can partner with them and see if you can jump on the challenges that people are already doing. So that's another thing. You know, it's even in this time of need, I'm a big proponent of collaboration. If you can collaborate with other brands and other companies and other people that are also out there trying to engage with others, you know, 2 heads are better than one, 2 forces are better than one. So if you could do that, I encourage you to do so. If you know some local trainers and your organization is about healthy wellness, fitness, or just overall wellness, even if it's mental wellness, you know, sometimes exercising is really good for mental health as well. Try and see if you can do some fitness challenges during this time at home. You know, gyms are closed, and a lot of people who love to go to the gym are really struggling to stay at home and to keep their figures right. So here's an example from Code Academy. For us at Code Academy, that means doing everything in our power to help learners like you. And in that spirit, I want to share a few thoughts on how we can continue to learn and grow together. And as you can tell, this is another message from Code Academy that is just helping people that are at home right now during quarantine. So make use of this time. This is an opportunity to hunker down and learn the things we've been meaning to learn for a while now. That could be learning a new language, building something meaningful, or trying the 30-day challenge. Whatever your goal may be, share how you're making use of your time on Instagram or Twitter with #LearnFromHome. Get involved with the community. One of the most difficult aspects of social distancing is feeling disconnected from others. So I'd encourage you to introduce yourself to the wonderful people in the Code Academy Facebook community, share some tips, get help when you're stuck, or just chat about your coding journey. Help for teachers, students, and parents. With recent school closures, many students find themselves trying to learn from home. So to help, we wrote a guide on how you can use Code Academy at home to help supplement more traditional learning. So that's the thing about being in this pandemic times, because I think that I have this quote that I love that says, when our resources are low, our creativity is at its highest. And I think that you are starting to witness how creative people can get and still continuing their businesses, their goals, their mission while we're in this pandemic times. So another fun thing I did was I actually partnered with one of the magicians that we typically hire for our kids club, and I asked him to do a very, very fun video of teaching kids how to wash their hands. His name is Christopher T. Magician. I do have his video on cue, so if you have time, if we have time, I'll try and show it. But it gives you an idea. If you guys, if your target market are kids, you know, which literally it's parents, but your services are for the kids, you know, try and think of like, who are your partners and your vendors that it's on your roster that you can ask to do something fun, so then you can share it. Because not only are you giving value for your customers, but you're also helping your vendors stay in front of people during these times. So he was very happy, when I gave him the idea. He said, "Oh my gosh, thank you for that idea." People like him, magicians and balloon artists and face painting artists, they're out of jobs right now. So, if they could stay in front of people, they would take that opportunity. So if it's appropriate for your organization, try and ask those type of vendors to see if they can do something, a video or something fun for the kids virtually, and that you will host it, on their behalf, and it will be a partnership between the two of you. So my next tip would be create an ad with your branding or photos from your team that is relevant to the times. So create ads on how to stay safe at home, create ads on how to survive staying at home, how to respect people's spaces at home, thanking the frontliners, or how to boost their immunity. Again, it all depends on what your organization is about. But I do have some really cool examples here on the next slide that there are a lot of examples, but I wanted to show you just a few to give your creativity some juices flowing, basically. So right here on the next slide, we have Nike ad. Nike has been one of my favorites. They make the most like creative, inspirational messages for their clients and their followers. So this one from Nike says, "If you ever dreamed of playing for millions around the world, now is your chance. Play inside, play for the world." That's genius. And Coca-Cola was a genius one too. They have an ad here that says "thank you," and within the Coca-Cola bottle, they have listed all these different people, essential workers and frontliners. Thank you, and to everyone staying at home, families with small children, social workers, caregivers, teachers, farmers, pharmacists, nurses, supermarket workers, cleaning staff, delivery workers, police, doctors, and paramedics. Beautiful ad. And then you have Audi right here that actually modified their logo. So typically these circles are like overlapping, right? So they separated the circles and it says Audi, keep distance. So think about different creative ways, maybe that you can do this with your logo, with your brand, with anything at all. That maybe take a picture of your building and do something like Photoshop a sign outside of your building, something positive. Maybe you have a tagline that you can modify during this time just to reflect, the current situation. So these are great and creative ways to do it. My next example to you is actually, so at South Bay Pavilion, we do a fashion show 3 times a year. And before the Safer at Home mandate, we actually did our spring fashion show casting calls. But unfortunately, we weren't able to actually do the fashion show because, we've had to cancel events, more than 50 people, then eventually it was no event at all. So what we did was we contacted our models and we asked them to hold up a sign, so we can make this nice collage, and it says, "Thank you to those on the front line. We appreciate you all." We actually also did another one that says, stay safe, stay home, something like that. So, but we did the same thing where we asked them, "Can you, create a sign and hold it up?" So this is a great idea too that you guys can do, and totally within the means of, people are home, they're bored, so most likely they will participate. Here's another cute little ad, someone, this is not from us, so it's just a repost from Biology. Keep calm and carry out. So just simple things that you could still do for your organization, holding up signs, taking a picture of it, taking pictures of your employees while working at home, asking your clients if they want to participate, and holding up signs. Those are just some ideas for you to help you just think of other creative ways. Tip number 7, share how your organization is planning to rise above these challenging times. Maybe it's sanitizing your facilities, maybe it's working remotely, practicing social distancing, basically just reiterating whatever it is that you're already doing, but creating a post out of it so that you have, more social media content that can help you engage your followers. And here's an example, we are happy to announce, it's a post that I kind of just wrote as an example. We are happy to announce and share that we have just completed a thorough sanitation process for our facility. And although our location is not open for the public, we have taken these necessary steps to keep our small staff safe. So if that's true for you, that's probably an idea that you can post as well. And again, we're just kicking around some ideas of what you can do right now on social media. If you're feeling stuck, you're up against the wall and just feeling like you're running out of ideas of what to say at this time. Here's another idea, tip number 8. What upcoming events or programs do you need to promote? If you have some future events, will it transition to a virtual event? What changes are you going to make to adjust the event or the program? If you're unsure of how you need to adjust, you can be honest about that too. As organizations, I truly understand, you have your numbers that you have to achieve, you have your goals that you have to achieve by the end of this year. And if you have events down the line in September, October, November, everything is unknown at the moment of what the new normal is going to be, when people are going to start feeling safe to be so close to other people. And trust me, I can relate, here, at South Bay Pavilion, we are driven by events. So even myself, I'm thinking, what is going to be my first event and when, and what kind, and am I going to have to consider social distancing still? So everything is up in the air, as it's my job to bring in the shoppers at the shopping center. And so I think that by the time that the quarantine will be lifted, I think people will be excited to be out and to do normal things, but they will still be guarded and making sure that they're not so close to someone who's asymptomatic maybe. So it's still very up in the air, but you can still be honest about that. Like, you can still post about, hey, for example, for me, usually in September we have, some kids club events. So I can still post and say, we're excited that one day, one of these days, we are going to officially be out of the quarantine mandate. But when we do, we cannot wait to have our first event. And we're hoping that we host the right first event. And, so anything like that, you can still be honest and post these things, even if you're still unsure. And if you're unsure, that means you want to poll your followers to see, what they think, or if they have any suggestions. That's a great way to engage them too. Maybe you can say, hey, we typically have this big event that we host in May, but we think it's too soon. When do you think we should move it to? And even though what they say is not the final answer to your questions, it's still helping you engage them into your post when you're asking a question and you're asking for their opinion. Because trust me, people are very opinionated these days, and they would love to chime in on helping you and your organization. So, I actually have 10 tips. So this number 9 right here is share inspirational quotes and messages. Share quotes or videos, share recovery rates, share messages of hope and strength. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those quotes, and don't be afraid to repost them or share them to inspire your audience and to inspire your followers. That's another idea as well. And, sharing quotes has always been a good idea in my book, whether or not we're in the pandemic, but even more so now when people need that spark of light and that spark of hope, because guess what? People are spreading a lot of negativity online, especially on their personal profiles. They're sharing all these statistics about, how many people are sick now, or what this politician said, what that politician said. Sometimes people are tired of that, and your positive message is going to be a breath of fresh air for them. So my last tip for you is to share accurate COVID-19 resources and information. I mean, the last thing you want to do is, share something that's either like fake news or totally not accurate information, basically. So be the source of correct information for your followers. Don't assume they know the information you are sharing. So many people aren't keeping up, and maybe they're keeping up with you and they're not keeping up with like the Long Beach City page. So you will be the source of correct information for them. Share the information in a more positive tone and don't heighten the fear. Collect information in your neighborhood or for the area you are serving. Maybe you have a list of grocery store hours for seniors, food banks, food giveaways, grab and go lunches. I know a lot of schools are doing that. Gather those information and be the source of information for your followers. So here's an example. I showed you this page earlier. And it was a page that if our shoppers click on the red tape link on the main page, it would lead them to this page right here. And even for us, we have shared this information, and you'll see the top text will say, due to the state of California mandate, South Bay Pavilion will be closed until further notice. Please stay safe. Restaurants will be open for pickup and or delivery. Stay home. Our doors are closed for now, but we are still very much active in social media and virtual Zumba classes, social media contests, and other fun things to do at home. We are in this together. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. It also says the situation with the novel coronavirus COVID-19 is extremely fluid, and government policies are changing daily. We have done our best to summarize and compile essential documents as a resource for your business. We urge you to review the materials and apply for SBA programs under the CARES Act while funding is available. And then underneath, we have all the resources from the legitimate certified sources, from the governor's website, from the IRS website, and I think we used to have this, some information from the CDC website or the World Health Organization website. Here's another example that I found from Canva, and they have this on their website. It said the impact of new coronavirus disease is being felt around the world. We believe we are better when we work together. It's important for us all to take the necessary steps to keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our local and global communities safe and supported. If you would like to share accurate information from the World Health Organization and spread messages of support to your community, here are some resources that can help during this tough time. And then underneath that, they have the links of legitimate resources. So I think at this time, it's really important that people are informed, but that people have hope, and that you are the source of this accurate information, hope, strength, and positivity, because we do not want to spread any more fear around. That's already getting done naturally without, without much effort. So the effort that we need is to be able to share something positive. So the best way to be there for others is to inspire positivity. And I think for organizations like yourselves, you do have that responsibility of being able to share positive information and accurate information. So I mean, that concludes my presentation, and I'm so happy that it's under an hour, so we can answer some questions. So Christina, if you want to chime back in, I'd like to read these messages myself. and see how I can answer them.
Completely fair. Thank you so much. And for those of you that are still here, thank you very much. If you could stick around too, TNP would like to take a quick poll. As soon as Sweeney's done addressing some of the marketing tips, we wanted to hear from you if your organization has applied for any relief funding and if you've received it or been denied or if it's pending. We're trying to get a gauge for how best to advocate for everyone's needs right now. So I'm going to pop that poll up just as soon as we address. We just have a few questions in the Q&A, so stick with us. And Sweetie, if you want to start addressing the couple questions we have.
Right. Okay. So I'm trying to read the last one. Should I read them out loud? Does that work better?
Yeah, that's fine. I think for the first two, the last one, I think it is a bit long, but she did say that she could take her question offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one is from an anonymous attendee. Ooh, so secretive. How would you recommend promoting university degree programs on social media when we're up against submission deadlines? You know, I think for that one, I'm assuming that the people that are, and you, if you can, I guess maybe type any response as I'm giving you an answer, because I'm only giving you ideas as ideas at this time. If, you know, I'm assuming that people that are interested in your programs, that you probably already have their email. And I think for something like this, I would recommend that that you are more specific with the programs that have these deadlines and have people sign up with their emails, because then you have a direct contact with them versus just communicating it out to the world, right? So I think when you do like a two-step, it's almost like a two-step authentication process that once they give you their email, then you know they're really interested and you can communicate with them that way. But as far as posting it online, I think that I'm positive that your program has different kinds of content that you can break up in a lot of different ways. Like, for example, if it is a marketing program, I would be familiar with this. If it's a marketing program, then you can probably talk about like the length of the, you know, one post would be like what the program looks like. Another post would be maybe some positive reviews from your alumni or someone that has taken these programs. You know, you can post that up like, hey, look at what Sweeney said about our program. She took our program and this was the result. Now she works for this and that. She's successful, blah, blah, blah. Join our program. The deadline is this, you know, you have to submit at this time, you know, click on this link and receive more information on how you can apply or something, if you have any incentives at all. And you can also maybe post something from the professors, you know. So I think that you have to keep posting because you have a deadline, but you don't want to be redundant. So you have to think of ways of how you can communicate how this program is really important for the people who are interested. And another way is to definitely try and advertise and pay for advertising so you can target to the specific target market that you're looking for this program or this degree. Let me know if I answered it. I hope I did, and you can just type a response back. The second one says, I've been on several webinars where organizations are pushing or selling future season subscriptions. Oops. How should we proceed? I'm not sure I totally get, Christina, do you totally get the question? How should you proceed in terms of selling?
I think more in terms of like, how can they word it so that it is in light of, you know, what's happening today, but also looking to the future.
So this is what a lot of people miss about social media, is that social media is really about soft selling. And what you need to do on social media is give value to people. Like, how is this subscription valuable? So that's what you need to post. I'm going to go back to a marketing example. Let's say I'm promoting subscription for a marketing magazine, you know, or newsletter or something like that. And then I need to be able to show why this subscription is valuable and and maybe show like my answer earlier, how the people that are subscribed to, what value have they received out of this, and you can promote that, like reviews per se. And then, learn more and click here to learn more. And then when they click to your link, that's actually where you have to do your hard sell. And you just want to do your soft sell on social media, because I've taught this in my class before, and I'm gonna reiterate it in the future digital bootcamp class. But social media platforms do have an algorithm that can pick and point and see that you're selling something. And if you're selling something, they're not going to show it to as many people as possible unless you're paying for an ad, because there's a thing called pay to play. So concentrate on giving value to your customers so that they understand how it's having a subscription for whatever it is that you're selling or promoting. Why would that bring value to their life? There's this great marketing quote that I live by, is that promote the problem you're solving versus the product. So if you think of it that way, I hope that you can think of different ways that you can communicate the value of the subscription, and that way then you can lead them to another website that could do all the hard selling for you, like a landing page or something. So I hope that answers that question. There's another one here after the long question that says, what are your thoughts on adding the donate button on Facebook posts during this time? What posts are appropriate to add the donate button and which aren't? So I think that firstly, I know that the donate button on Facebook, or the process that Facebook has as far as getting people to donate, has a really high fee. So if you have another platform, maybe better. That's one tip. Two is that it's not a bad idea to ask for donations at this time. As a matter of fact, I think many people are looking to help without being in the front lines, if that makes sense. I'm one of those. I'm a part of Rotary Club, Lions Club. I'm a board member for a couple of different organizations. And I am one of those who are afraid to go out there and hand out lunches, but I am more than willing to donate money to help out. Another way I'm helping out in the community is I host my virtual Zumba classes. And so that way, that's how I give back, helping people exercise while they're at home. So there are many people out there like myself who's looking to help without having to be physically around people. So I think that if you communicate what your organization is doing to help others, and then end that post with a call to action to say, if you're interested to help, if you're interested in contributing, if you're interested in helping X amount of families, if you're interested in adopting a family or anything, whatever the verbiage is, then click here to donate or learn more. So it's always a good idea to give your stakeholders an option to help, because I think that a lot of people right now are looking for ways to help without being physically around people. So, and communicate that you and your staff are putting yourselves on the line, and you need their help to bring more resources to the people that you're helping. So you just need to position yourself that way, and then get the donations that way. And also you can post pictures, proof that you've been helping others, visually enticing videos and photos to encourage and inspire people to help others. I hope that answers the question too.
Perfect. We had one in the chat specifically asking if you know of any organizations to follow on social media for unique post ideas. The companies from Nike and Coca-Cola and Aldi, they typically have large marketing departments, but do you happen to know of any organizations? And if not, we'll actually follow up with some ideas as well. But do you know of any organizations that have unique posts and ideas?
As a matter of fact, just before this, I was on the YMCA. I'm like, what? YMCLA. There you go, like so many letters. And I just saw, like, on Easter, they had an Easter egg. If you go on their Facebook, an Easter egg with a face mask with the YMCA logo. I mean, I thought that was really creative. So I think big organizations in general who have the financial capacity to have marketing teams like the YMCA, even the Boys and Girls Club. I know they're online right now. Even the World Health Organization, they do have some creative posts. And especially the World Health Organization, they have social media graphics and posts that you can just repost. I mean, sometimes when you're creating content for your pages, it doesn't always have to be an original post. It could be something you found. As long as you give credit to where you found it, you're totally fine. And your followers and your fans or your people that are following you will appreciate for the accurate information when you get it from the bigger, legit organizations out there. So yeah, definitely the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the United Way, all the basic like big organization. I'm sure, Christina, you can name a few, and I'm sure that they have marketing teams that are keeping up with creative posts. And that's a good idea too, which I forgot to mention earlier, is to follow accounts out there that are doing some really great creative posts.
Someone in the chat box did mention Calendau has a great Instagram page. I have not looked at it, but that was a recommendation from one of our attendees as well. And I highly recommend following other like organizations, just like Sweeney May said, and to get a flavor of what's happening, not necessarily to copy, but to get a flavor of it, and it might spark some really great ideas on your end. We did have another question up here. If TNP can conduct a training on how to set up a virtual event and how we can still make some money for our organizations. So I know that was briefly covered in one of the other webinars with Janet Levine, but that is something that we are looking to bring on as a lunch and learn event soon in the next couple months. So you should be seeing some information on that. Sweeney, I think we have one last question before we launch our poll, so please stick around for our poll. We do want that information from you. And this question is a little bit generic. It's not related to necessarily relaying information during COVID, but how can an organization build their social media presence and followers if they haven't been focusing on it up until now? I know this is something that you'll be covering in your workshop, but are there any tips that you can give, or just a few tips right now so that everybody can get a sense?
Totally. And I think this is the best time to actually activate your social media pages, because everyone is at home. Well, when I say everyone, I'm speaking generally. Most people are home. Most people are bored. And I don't have the statistics in front of me, but you would be surprised at how many hours people are online these days, to a point where internets are crashing down and bandwidths are being maximized. And so my suggestion to you is, if you're interested in activating your social media pages now, is yes, now is the good time. And you can start with, if you have an email list that you typically email, that hopefully is that you have an active email list. If you are not active in social media, I'm thinking that there's definitely a way that you're digitally connected to your people. Then send them a nice quick email and say, hey, we just became very active on Facebook, and maybe before you say that, maybe you want to do a couple of posts, so then when they come to your Facebook, that there's already a nice selection of posts that you've created, and invite them. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. And I think that's one thing people forget sometimes, is to verbally say that clearly. Hey, follow us on Facebook or like us on Instagram, because we're sharing some wonderful information there, and real up to the minute information. Because as you know, you have your Facebook stories and your Instagram stories, that you can take stories wherever you are at the moment when you're helping people, and people want to see that, so yeah, right now is a great time, and you can start by sending out an email inviting them, or if you have a text message group or anything like that, or if you're sending out your next actual mailer out, like include that in your mailer and say, hey, we are now active on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram, so join us there.
Perfect. And I think we have one last question here. A question: how can we engage our youth, which attended our after-school programs, through social media?
How can we engage our youth, which attended our after-school programs, through social media? That's a great question. I know that a lot of educational academic programs have moved on to Zoom. So if you haven't done that, like we're doing now, I think, creating some kind of curriculum where they can do something on their own at home, because if you think about it, parents right now that are working from home are probably struggling to find something for their kids to do. I just had a friend that took my Zumba class, and she was like, man, I can't even, I give them homework or I give them something to do and they would do it in an hour. And now I have to think of other things to give them, activities to do, so I can do my thing. I can do Zumba, so I can work. So trust me, the parents need you. If you can think of activities that the kids can do on their own, you're helping a lot of parents at home keep their sanity, keep some kind of schedule for their kids so that their kids can be busy while they're working from home. So definitely think of some kind of curriculum or activities that the kids can do at home, whether it's maybe it's a coloring book you're gonna try and create and send it to, give access to the parents, some puzzles, some I don't know, some activity that they can do at home.
Okay, and last question, do you have any tips for YouTube? We have an organization that transitioned to posting videos on YouTube.
Totally. I mean, YouTube is is actually the best platform to use if you're doing anything instructional, because you have all the time in the world for you to create that video, versus on Instagram or on Facebook where you're limited. So yeah, for YouTube, if you don't already have a channel, then make sure you go, and it's more detailed than this, but I'm giving you like top level tips. Make sure that you create it with your Gmail account. Make sure that you optimize all the features. So go into the settings and, change your cover picture. Make sure you choose the right name that will be easily found. And every time you post a video, make sure you're using the right keywords and tags so that you're easily found. And then share these videos into your other social media platforms. And then if you're really, really interested in growing your YouTube subscriptions, if you have this, let's say you have a 10-minute video, if you could do snippets like 30-second videos or anything like that, then you can post it on Facebook or Instagram. That way they will be enticed to see the rest of it. And then you can say, go to my YouTube link to see more of the video. So those are some top level things that I can think of. And if you do have the marketing money to promote your YouTube videos, just like Facebook and Instagram, you can select how much you want to spend, and you'll just get the results that you will get with the money that you spend. You don't have to spend thousands. You can spend $100. You can spend $50 just to get it going and to get people to subscribe. And always ask people to subscribe, because when they subscribe, that's when they get notifications that you have a new video up. So
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. That was actually great tips for us too for TNP, because we just launched our YouTube channel, and we are, in addition to posting up these webinars, we're also conducting an interview series called Our Stories, Our Time, and stories of impact and resiliency from the nonprofit sector. So if you haven't caught any of those, you can catch them up on YouTube as well. We did interviews with, I believe, the Salvation Army, as well as Urban Community Outreach and Arts Council for Long Beach. So we streamed them live, but we're also showing them up on YouTube. So thank you for that. So without further ado, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Sweetie May, but for right now, thank you for sticking around. I am launching that poll. So we have a few minutes here, and really this is focusing on the COVID-19 relief funding. So if your organization has applied for any particular funding available, if you could let us know how that's gone for you. And this is really just looking at the, the results at this point in time, not so much how that process was. We know that it's been difficult for some and simple for others, but tough to get through on some of the websites. We've been hearing back some of that information. The poll you should be seeing now up on your screen. So hopefully you do. And it's a series of questions. So you can just kind of scroll through, and if it doesn't apply to you, go ahead and click that organization does not have access to apply for this funding. If it doesn't, there's some that are particular to arts organizations, so you can share that. But we know that a lot of organizations have been looking for some sort of relief and funding. And so we just appreciate your sharing your information so that we can advocate for you. It helps us figure out where best to put our resources. So up on your screen, you should be seeing ones for the SBA Economic and Injury Disaster Loan or Paycheck Protection Program. It's more kind of widely known one. We also have the Long Beach Disaster Relief Fund, that is the partnership between Long Beach Community Foundation as well as the City of Long Beach. Further down, the LA City Emergency COVID Relief Fund, put forward by Mayor Garcetti. And then the Arts Emergency Relief Fund. There's another one related to arts, LA Arts COVID Relief Fund, whether it's through CFF or Getty, or there's several others that are under that. So if you want to answer within that one. And the last one there, just kind of any type. If you have been able to talk to foundations and have them increase your funding, or if you found other types of relief programs. I know there's ones out for musicians. So just kind of let us know. I'm going to leave that up for just a little bit more time while you all get a chance to answer. And thank you to those that have answered it. Sweeney, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your time with us and helping. If you have applied but you haven't heard back yet, please put pending. That is a question that came up, so thank you for that. And just remember that if you like what you heard, but you want a little bit more information for how to establish a presence on social media, for what the different types of platforms do and how best to engage your followers and your supporters through social media, we will be hosting a digital marketing workshop with Sweeney on Tuesday, May 12th. Tuesday, May 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. So we would love for you to join us for that. We will also look forward to seeing all of you again online, in real life eventually, but online for the time being. We do have our affinity groups running. They're open to absolutely everybody. We'd love to have you come in and share your ideas and ideas for resources. We also have our HR check-ins every week, and it's a great time to connect with some of your fellow nonprofit colleagues and get some ideas for how best to help your team not just survive through all of this, but really thrive and grow and be an effective team during this time. So we're really looking forward to that, and I think we're just about done. So thank you again, everybody. Please stay safe and let us know how we can help you out. If you have any questions, I posted it up in the chat. You can email at info@tnpsocal.org. Otherwise, the full video and the resources that you that we will share through this will be emailed directly to all of you. So
Actually,
yes.
have a quick plug. If you guys are on Instagram, follow me on Mayday Marketing Inc. I posted it, but I misspelled it first, the first one. So if you can find me on Instagram at Mayday Marketing Inc. And I do post a lot of helpful tips for, I just did a I called it my quarantine time. Get it? Tea time, quarantine time. So I'm making my tea and I'm giving you tips. There's just some ways I get a little creative. And so my recent video there was, some tips on if you're thinking of doing virtual videos or online videos, just a little bit of tips for you. So maybe it'll be helpful for what you need. And follow Mayday Marketing Inc. and let's connect there. If you have any questions, you can continue to ask some of the questions that comes up through that Instagram for sure.
Thank you so much, Sweeney. And on the same note, if you don't already follow TNP on Facebook or Insta or LinkedIn, we're on all of those. But we do, as soon as we find a resource that we think is really valuable to all of you, we'll try and send it out via email, but we also post it up. So hope to see you all really soon. Thank you all so much. Everybody stay safe and well. And until next time, thank you from TNP. Bye.
Bye.